I was thinking about that Colin Wilson quote. He was the literary philosopher and sort of lay psychologist, but I had a lot of time for him, and he talked about what we're experiencing, what we're wanting in life is the experience of intensity, which is to say, like an experience of moment by moment of the absolute value of life, where we experience that this moment is unrepeatable, and we take that in. But in order to take in the absolute value of every moment is actually to be in the heart space, because that's where you feel into the reality. It didn't have to be this way. There didn't have to be so much beauty. There didn't have to be this capacity for intimacy, and gratitude kind of arises from that. But most of the time, I think we spend in, if we're in the egoic state, we just feel like in one way or another we're under attack. So we're kind of hunkered down, and we don't actually experience life as it is, like the mystery of life. We're we're in a lot of fear, and some of that obviously is for good reason, and some of it's not. But even the experience of fear, if you experience it clearly, cleanly, as with the experience of any emotion, is also an experience of intensity. Like even if we're in the depths of sorrow, if we feel it all the way through, it's like there is somewhere in there a realization of the gift of this moment, to be able to feel the sorrow, and the sorrow will open to wisdom, to a deeper wisdom for life. And we'll experience in that what it is to be alive. the so-called good of it, and the struggle. But if we don't flinch, if we turn towards it and face it all, we're in this space of intensity, where we kind of get that, like, we're lucky to be able to have just to be alive, as painful as it can be, and all the ecstasy and all the agony. And it's like, what is this thing, this consciousness? Like, it's like, so it's the it's the willingness to be alive, to really be alive to what life is bringing us moment by moment, is the intensity. But if we're living in a simulation, then we won't experience that. And the people, one way to talk about people pleasing is it's kind of a simulation. It's not the real thing. It's like we're not actually showing up. We're showing up how we think others want us to show up, and what's going to get the applause meter going in our favor. But it's not life. It's one space removed from life as it is. And that's why no one wants to go here, because if you're going to go from that simulation of ego, the game, the pretense of ego, and I'm not being critical. I mean, there's a reason, as you know, I've talked about that, good reason for that, building that fortress. but it's going to protect us not only from real or imagined threats to our heart, it's also going to mean that we can't live with the kind of intensity that Colin Wilson was talking about. Because always what's waiting, if you want to break through the simulation, is reality. And reality always brings with it grief and sorrow and the facing of shame and facing our history without any buffers. Uh, and that's what we believe we can't survive. If we actually face it, feel it. That's why we keep ourselves defended from living with an open heart. Because we still have a belief that was set up a long time ago that I can't let this reality in and survive. And you know, that's not true, but it takes a leap of faith to go there. And then it takes a leap of faith to speak from and act from that undefended reality, the vulnerability, to let your words reflect the truth of who you are, to speak not the pleasing word, but the true word. That whole principle of, you know, trade in the illusion of goodness for the practice of truth. As I was lying there this morning, feeling like this intestinal bug that's got me, I don't know, for whatever reasons, no things were coming through. And I was thinking of how when you're in the heart space, the sacred self, you don't do anything to be virtue. You don't like you might end up like serving the world because that's just what your heart wants to do. But you're coming from a space of I'm just going to live from my heart here, and it's not in the first place altruistic. It's like I'm going to live in my heart and save the world. It's like, no, just live in your heart, just enjoy life, and then trust that if you are living in your heart, you are already a reflection of the divine, and there's nothing that you could do therefore that would be harmful to others. So you don't have to worry about like following the teachings of the guru, the teachings of the religion, or the teachings of the Buddha, or the teachings of Jesus. It's like I think Jesus, for example, was trying to get that across. He was just saying, like, connect to source, connect to earth. That connection place is your heart, and then just live your life. And don't worry about what you should do. Stop trying to live into somebody else's ideals of what that might look like. Because you can't really go wrong if you're really in this heart space. You have no desire to hurt anybody. It's like you feel love, and you're going to be empathic, and you're going to feel compassion, and you want to be generous, and you're grateful. You're not afraid of your feelings, so you're not trying to stop anybody else from feeling what they're feeling, or life becomes kind of simple. But it's hard to trust that, right? So that like instead of just trusting that and the practice of being in your heart, we we look for teachers like to kind of tell us what we should do in this situation or what like on the one hand it's natural, on the other hand the realization is that um your heart is your teacher. There's a thing in the book of Jeremiah in the Hebrew scriptures where it's that he envisions a time when human beings won't need any teachers because there'll be sort of an inner wisdom of the heart, and so everyone in this in this vision will just trust their heart and orient from that and work it out and take their next step based on what the heart is revealing. You just flow from one thing to another. And it's really wonderful to be in a community. I was with my friends this weekend, just for a day and a half. But nobody is thinking like in the space that we were in, help with a little medicine, albeit, but it's like nobody was thinking about taking care of anybody else or being polite or being nice. It's like everyone was doing exactly what they wanted to do. And it was everything flowed. It was just the next thing that needed to happen emerged, and one person did it and the other person followed. Or like there was a moment when I was sitting in the sun and the sun was directly on me. And there was another one of my friends who wasn't feeling that great. And so this is interesting, right? Because there was a part of me that said, oh, I should get out of my chair because he's not feeling good and give it to him. But I said to him, you know what? Man, I give you my chair, but I'm really, really enjoying the sun. It's just really good for my soul. It's like, so it was just, I spoke from the truth of my heart, right? I didn't speak from what I should do in that situation. And it turned out to be perfect. He didn't want to be in the sun. His eyes were hurting. But if I was being good, if I was being, the good version of Bruce, I would say, hey, come on, get over here, sit in the chair. And like, but it was just so natural to say, hey, I just am really enjoying this, dude. Like, I give you this chair, but I don't want to. Which is weird, right? Because on the one hand, you could look at that and think, oh, that's selfish, but there was none of that. There was no judgment from anyone. It was just like, oh, Bruce doesn't want to. And then it turned out that this guy didn't want to either. Nobody was being good. Nobody was on their best behavior, but everybody was loving. Everyone was caring. Everyone was just rolling with what was emerging. No one was trying to force anything. It was a sweet, sweet space.